guys, welcome to this crochet tutorial. Before we begin, I want to clarify two things. If you've never done crochet before, this video is for you. I've explained everything as if you didn't even know what the definition of a hook or yarn was. But with that being said, if I'm lacking in any area, please let me know down in the comments for improvement in future tutorials as well. And if you're stuck anywhere and want to ask a specific doubt, you can also DM me on Instagram. That's Slippery Art. And lastly, if you do finish this project and post, please don't forget to tag me. Now, second, my scarf just sits on your head. It's not long enough to wrap around the neck. So if you wanted to wrap it around, you would have to make it longer. I've explained the process in the video, but I just want to let you know beforehand that you would require more yarn then. I've used around 300 grams. You would require more than that. With that being said, let's get into the materials. I'll be using weight 6 plush yarn. I used almost 300 grams. If your scarf is gonna be longer, then you might need more. My scarf was 52 inches long and 5 inches wide. And I use a 7mm hook. The recommended size was 8mm, but I wanted my stitches to be slightly tighter. You'll also need 2 stitch markers, or you could use safety pins or bobby pins. Anything works that you can clasp. And lastly, you'll need a pair of scissors with a darning needle, and the needle should be like thick enough such that your yarn could get through. I will link the products I'm using or any recommendations in the description so you can find it there. Now, to start crocheting, we need to connect our yarn to the hook, and this process is called making a slip knot. Here's how you do it. You grab the yarn, and this is my left hand. So I take my yarn and I make it go over my 2 fingers. Then, just from the back, I cross it over. So you see, it forms a X. So this, I'll call this a loose tail, and I'll call this the working tail. I call this working because it's still connected to the bundle of yarn. So I will be working with this yarn. So after it's crossed over like this, I grab this working tail and I go over once again, and I hold this also in place. Now I turn my fingers, pick the back one up, the first one that we made, and bring it on top, and then it may look something like this, and I pull this working tail so it will get tightened, and you see this knot that has formed around my fingers, that's called a slip knot. And you put the hook inside this knot, and by pulling on the working tail you tighten it. That's a slip knot. It's connected to the hook. I'll do this once again. Also, just by pulling on it, it'll unwind. You take the yarn, you go like this, and you hold it in place. Then you take this working tail, the one that's still connected to the ball of yarn, and you go over. So here I'm crossing this. I go over it again, and simply I hold it. Nothing is happening here. You just hold it. Then the one at the bottom, I pick this loop up and bring it over here. And after that, I can just pull on this this working tail, and it will tighten. You can tighten it. And now I insert my hook, right? So you can be confused. How should I insert my hook? Both. So first of all, yes, through both these loops that you see. Now, crochet is always done from right to left. So, since I'm going to be working from right to left, I want the working yarn to be on my left side, because as I'm going, I'll pick it up. Which is why, as I insert my hook and I tighten, I want the loose tail to be this side, and the working tail to be this side to hold with the left hand, because I'm going to be working from right to left. Let's do it one more time, going slightly faster. You take it, you wrap it around, hold it. Once more, hold it, turn, then overlap, then pull the long working tail, tighten, then take your fingers out and simply put the hook in, and then tighten. Pull on both, pull on this. Also, you don't need to leave to like a very long tail. This is a loose tail. You don't need to leave a very long one. Slightly shorter would be fine, because we don't actually use this for working. Before I show you how to actually start crocheting, we need to maintain our yarn tension. So crocheting essentially goes like going under the yarn, looping it, hooking it, pulling through the loop on my hook. This. But the main struggle with this is like, as a beginner, I was unsure whether I had to make it tight or whether I had to make it really loose. I had no idea how to handle the tension of yarn, which is why I'm going to show you. The yarn that I'll work with, I'll wrap it around my left hand. Here are two ways I hold it. One, I can wrap it like this, but wrapping it is not the important part. The important part is that you're pulling it to keep it tight. So in order to chain, you go under the yarn from the side closer to you. So this side is closer to me. I go under from this side and over from the side further from me, you know? And then I pull. So this yarn that I'm grabbing gets pulled out and I form another loop. So I pull it out of the loop that was on my hook and I create another loop through that. So this loop, you know, we can pull on it to make it really loose, or we can pull on the other side to make it really tight. So the aim is to maintain a constant tension. You don't want it to be too loose, because then weird holes would appear in your work because the yarn tension was really loose. And if you make it too tight, it will make it very hard for you to work. So if it's really tight, I may not be able to pull this second loop within this loop that's already on my hook. So here's how you chain again. You have this working tail, the yarn that's still connected to the ball, and then the way I hold it is I make it go over my pinky, under the ring finger and middle finger, and wrap it around my index, and then I pull like this. I pull like this. Another way to do it is sometimes I would just hold it like this, just like, you know, between these two fingers, and just pull on it. So we're gonna go over how to chain. You go under, over, and then you pull this yarn that you just grabbed through the hook. The hook is there to grab this yarn. You know, you're grabbing this yarn, then you want to pull this yarn from the hook. So this is your first chain. A chain looks like, it's a V-like structure. It might be hard to see on this yarn. It's a little hard to see on this yarn, but it's there. I'm sorry, it's hard to see on this yarn, but it's there. Now I want you to mark the very first V with a stitch marker, mainly because you can confuse the slip knot with the first chain. That's common, that can be confused. If your slip knot is not very tight, the first chain can be confused with the slip knot. That's why I like to mark my first chain. Now we are just going to continue the process of chaining for the length of the scarf. So again, working tail wrapped around my hand to maintain tension, and then I go under, then I come over, then I pull. That's my second chain. I go under, I come over, then I pull through the loop that's on my hook, and that's my third chain. Important thing to note here is that the loop on my hook is not a chain. You do not count that as a chain. The chains are the things that the V's we have created already. So this was my first one, this is my second one, and this is the third one. So once again, you go under, you come over from the other side, then using the hook, you pull it, and then you go through the loop on your hook. So that was my fourth chain. So we continue this chaining. Fifth chain, sixth chain. Keep on pulling on the yarn to maintain the tension. And also I like to pull both sides. As a beginner, I was really confused on how to maintain my tension, which is why I'd like to emphasize on this. I pull from this side, but then I also I hold this chain that I'm making and I pull from both sides to like have a good tension. And I pull through. You go under, come over from the other side, and you keep on pulling through. You do this till you reach the length of your scarf. I think the weaves are more visible now. You can see the weaves. And that's how you count your chains. You count the number of weaves, those are your chains. So I put a stitch marker here. So this is my first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So far, this is how 9 chains look like. Okay guys, so that's called a foundation chain, and after you've chained the length you're satisfied with, we're going to work up the rows, which will add the width to the scarf. So we are going to double crochet. So for that, you make 2 extra chains. So I made 110 chains. Now I'm just making 2 more. We make these 2 extra chains as when we work in rows, it adds the height to the crochet. So we're gonna make double crochets. For that, what we do is we skip the first 2 V's, then we have this third V here, right? Again, let's remember that the loop on your hook is not a V, it's not a chain. It's just a loop on your hook. That's not a chain. So we're going to make double crochet. For that, we skip the first 2 V's. Then this third V right here, you can open it up a little bit. You will see that it's like three strings basically, right? There's one in the middle, one on this side, and one on this side. Now, what I want you to be careful about is to hold the chain the right way. As a beginner, I would hold it in this manner and I'd get really confused. See here, your V's are sort of inverted. This is the back loops chain. Here you can't see the V as such. Instead, you can see a loop at the back. You can see that thing popping out. You don't want to hold your chain like this, then you'll get confused. Switch it over to the side where you can actually see V's like this, where you can open it up. You can pull it on one side, on the other side. V's versus not V's. I know it looks like V's, but these are like inverted. It looks like a braid from this side, like a rope from this side. From this side, you can see how you can see all the V's here. Okay, so once we figure that out, we skip first 2, then this third one, open it up slightly to get a better understanding of how it looks. There will be one loop which faces towards you. You ignore that. Then there's one in the middle. You ignore that as well. And then actually the loop, the hole that forms between the side that's further away from you and the middle one, that's where we're going to insert our hook. You see this, this and this. Now I'm going to insert my hook right under this loop that was like further away from me. Like I'm here, I'm this side, right? And that's further away from me. When you hold your chain like this, you see one that's closer to you, one that's far away from you. And you like kind of just lift it up. You can open it a little bit, lift it up, and then insert your hook there. So that's where we're gonna insert our hook. We don't start off like that. So to do double crochet, you actually yarn over, and we've been pulling through. We do not do that. We just keep the loop over here. So you can just do this, or you can put it on top. And then third loop from the hook, make it like still be holding this, so maintain tension in this area. Like hold this tightly, this finger. If I make it loose, the yarn just goes over, right? So we have to maintain tight tension. So there are two loops now on your hook. And we're gonna put those two loops to work. We're gonna take your hook, put it through that hole that was further away from you. Gonna just insert it. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook. So one thing to note is like when you're inserting it in that loop, make sure you maintain this to be tight. Let me show you how it would look like if I wasn't holding it tight. So if you weren't holding it tightly enough, it would basically look something like this. I'm just completing it to show you how it would look like once you completed it loose. You can't see right now, but basically that's a huge gap, and it's just a loose stitch, and you can feel that it's a loose stitch. So again, that would create like awkward gaps in your work. So always remember to keep the tension tight, not too tight, just a good amount of tightness. Okay, so we have this, we go under, over, we pick it up, pull tight, 1, 2, 3rd, put it through the hole. Now the first step to make the double crochet is, how we've been chaining by going under and over and then pulling through. We're gonna do that, and we're just gonna go through the first loop. So there are 3 loops on your hook. So just go like pull this yarn through the first loop. And when you do that, you again have 3 loops on your hook. So in the next step, we're actually going to pull through the first 2 loops. So again, you go under, come over, and pull through loop number 1. And the same loop, you pull it under loop number 2. And then you'll be left with 2 loops on your hook. And now finally, step number 3 is again go under, over, and then pull through both these loops again. So you can do it in one go. And that's your first double crochet. I'm going to show it again. I'm going to show it once again slowly. You have a loop on your hook, and then you pick up a second loop, which you don't pull through anything. It's just like a false loop, honestly. Keep it tight. Go through this 3rd hole, and then pull. You'll have 3 loops. On your hook. Then you go under, come over, and pull through the first loop only. Then you pull through the first 2 loops. So you'll end up with 2 loops now. And then you pull through the rest of the loops. And that's your first double crochet. Now, after doing the first double crochet, pause. And this loop you have on your hook, just pull it out a lot. once you pull it out, so this is how your chain is going, right? I want you to turn the work like this so it faces you, and then at the bottom of this loop you'll see a V forming. I want you to place a stitch marker right there. So you see this V, one side of the V, second side of the V. Pick up both. Honestly, you could pick up one also, that's fine, but just place a stitch marker there, because this marks your first stitch, and that's very important to mark. Essentially, if you don't put a stitch marker on the first stitch, you wouldn't know where you started. You know, we have 110 chains and we need to make like 110 double crochets. Like, we're gonna maintain that number, but since chains and double crochets both appear to be V's from like top view, it's very easy for you to enter, like, you know, the 2 extra chains we made. You would end up entering those chains instead of ending at the double crochet, the first double crochet, and that would basically just make you have extra double crochets. Like, you might end up having 113 double crochets. So when you do those extra stitches, your project will not end up being a rectangle, it will end up being a trapezium, because you increase the amount of stitches you made. I hope that's clear. Okay, so now we can continue doing double crochets. So again, okay, also once you do it, you'll realize like that loop you just entered your hook in would kind of have stretched out. So that sort of gives a little, so this one you can see it's a little more stretched out compared to these ones. So I know that I entered this loop, which is why next I'm going to enter in this one. So again, after marking with the stitch marker, just pull it in, like, you know, we made the loop loose. We're just gonna insert the stitch hook back in, pull it, make it tight, and then for the next double crochet we're gonna do this again, enter in this loop, pull through only one first, then pull through two, then pull through two again, and that's a double crochet right there. One thing to note again is your chain most likely will, like, you know, just turn over sometimes. Like mine is kind of turned over right now, but I'm not meant to enter in these chains. I'm meant to turn it, so I enter through the V. So just that can happen. Once you start working, your chain can start twisting. Always just make it back to like straight where you're meant to enter. So you see I entered my hook through this one, so it's stretched out, so I know like I entered in this, so next I'll enter in this. Also feel free to just like use your fingers to make your hook go in, and then pull through one, pull through two, and pull through two again. This is how it's looking. So we start again really slowly. You have this, you go under, come over, and you don't do anything, but you maintain tightness. Then you make the hook go inside this. Okay, now you can leave it here just to gain like an understanding of how it looks. It looks like this, and then I'll pick this working yarn up again. I'll pick this working yarn up again, which is right now like here. It feels weird, but it's okay, that's how it's meant to be. I'm gonna pick it up and then go under, over, and pull through only the first one. Okay, now I'm gonna pull through the first two. Now I'm gonna pull through two again, and then I'll be left with one. That's how I know I'm done with the double crochet. And we just continue this till we reach the last or the first stitch of the first chain, which you should have marked with a stitch marker. You just continue this process for the entire length. Go in like that. One important thing to know is that if by the end of this, if your scarf doesn't feel straight and it feels like a trapezium, that can be owed to like doing 2 double crochets in the same chain space by mistake. So you know, I just double crocheted here, and this is the place where this is the chain where I've already double crocheted. If I end up going back in it by mistake, that's an increase. You see, it looks like almost like a V because it's originating from the same point. Anyway, so see, if the stitches are equal, it lines up like a rectangle. But if you increase the stitches, like this is a certain number of stitches, and then you increase it, then it's longer, and then therefore it can go like a trapezium. That's just like something to keep in mind. Try her best not to skip a chain or not to like end up entering the same chain again, because that can make your scarf a little wonky. I think 1 or 2 mistakes, I mean, I'm guessing if you do it by mistake, you can't really tell, but yeah, I think 1 or 2 shouldn't make that much of a difference, so you can be chill about it. But yeah, you can just try your best to see where you're entering. So I've already entered over there, so I'll enter the next one now. Okay, so now I'm almost at the end of the chain, like back to the first chain I ever made. This is how it looks for me so far. So let me just complete this part. Okay, now in the last chain, we're actually just gonna double crochet normally as we've been doing. Yarn over, put the hook through, just double crochet normally. You double crochet normally. Now you can take out the stitch marker. Now what we're gonna do is that we are going to chain 2. Should look like this. Let's do that again. You would have double crocheted and it should look like this, because you know, you just repeated the same step even in the last chain. So you pull this and you just chain 2. It should look like this, 2 chains. Now we're gonna turn our work, because we always crochet from right to left. So we're gonna turn our work, and we're gonna also bring the working yarn on the left side again, so we can maintain tension. Now what we're gonna do is, we just chain 2, right? So you can see, wait, let me put my hook like that so it's better to see. Yeah, so this loop on the hook is not a chain. Let's remember that. This right here is not a chain. This is. So we are gonna enter the 3rd chain from the hook. So see, the 2 chains that we just made, again, adds the height to the double crochet. You see how this is like, this is basically meant to be the height of the 2 chains. So for the first starting one, you have to add the height. Right, so this is my first chain. I'm not gonna enter this. This is the second one. I'm not gonna enter that. I'm gonna enter the back loop. Okay, yeah, another important point. When you enter this chain, there are many places you can enter from. First key point is to maintain the chain, like maintain the scarf like this, because the chains basically look the same from 3 sides. Oh yeah, so you don't want to end up like twisting it and like
picking up different yarns. So anyways, we're going to keep it straight like this, you know, like this, and then have a top view, and then you can see all the V's together. And we are gonna go, so you can go under over here, or you can pick up the first loop. So this is the front loop and this is the back loop. When you see the V on top and then you put like the hook through the middle, this right here is front loop and the one at the back is the back loop. What we're going to do is we're going to enter the back loop. So third chain from the third chain from the hook, and I'm going to enter this back loop. So I'm only picking up like a single thread of like yarn. I'm not picking up like anything from the back. See, this is how I'm holding it. Yeah, this here. I'm not gonna pick up, so I need to enter here. Just put your hole, put the hook into the hole, and then pick up this one, the one that's further away from you. This is closer to you, that's further away from you. So you pick up the back loop and it's just like a single thread. You don't pick up like anything else. See, there's like, you can insert your hook in many places, so don't do that. Just pick up singular yarn thread. We just double crochet again. So yarn over, enter the back loop where you're picking up just a single thread, and double crochet. Now after doing the first double crochet, it's really important, pull this long and then you see this V at the bottom. Place a stitch marker there, because that just marks like the first stitch from this side. For row 2, that marks your first stitch. So remember to mark it. Then we insert our hook back, just tighten it, and then we just continue. So again, we are gonna enter the back loop only. Your scarf should look something like this. So you hold it like this, because it's very easy to confuse like these chains, but no, we're actually gonna hold it like straight. So from the top view where we get the 2 chains, we're gonna take the chains from the top view and we're gonna insert our hook in the one that's further away from us. So like this, I'm gonna pick up right here and pull once, pull through the first 2, pull through 2 again, done. Now yarn over, maintain tension, enter the back loop here, then pull through once, pull through twice, pull through twice again. That's how it should keep on going. Back loop, entering, just pick it up. Make sure you keep it straight like this. If you make it go like this, you can confuse this as a chain or anything else, because I have confused things to be chains when they're not. So we continue this. Okay, so I'm almost at the end of the second row. This is how it looks so far. We started here, and now after doing the entire thing, I have last 3 chains. Now, because we marked with the stitch marker, we know this is the first double crochet we did for the row. So we're gonna insert the hook into this last back loop, and that's it for row 2. So this helps us know like where are we stopping. For example, if this wasn't here, it's likely that you might have entered this next stitch, but these are actually the chains you did for the height. So yeah, you just do first to last, last to first. So So anyways, to start row 3, we're just gonna chain 2 again. Then we're gonna turn our project. Again, pull the yarn this side, hold the yarn this side, and now the third chain from the hook. So this is my hook, chain number 1, chain number 2, and the third chain I'm gonna insert a double crochet in it. And after inserting the first double crochet, I'm going to take the stitch marker out from that stitch and then insert it. So pull the loop, and then here you see this thing, this V at the base. You can put your stitch marker through both. So that's the first stitch of the row. Of row 3, that's the first stitch. We're just going to repeat this all over. We just, again, for row 3, you just go in the back loop again. So enter the back loop, and we're just going to double crochet. And we just do this for the entire length, and we do this for the thickness we want. So I'm guessing that would be maybe 6 rows, more or less, depending on how thick you want it to be. Okay guys, I've reached the last stitch for the scarf. I made 5 rows, and this is the last stitch. Back loop. After you're done with the last stitch, just chain 1, then pull a little bit of the yarn out. You should form a loop, chain 1 and then form a loop, and then just cut off the yarn. So pulling this away, this is my loose end, and then just pull on it gently and it would be done. So this is a loose end, and even in the starting we have a loose end here. This is where we started. We're gonna weave these in, but we can do that later. So for the barriers, we're gonna make a magic circle and we're gonna work into it. So for making the magic circle, this is my left hand and this is my right hand. This is the working yarn. I put the yarn over the pinky and the ring finger, under middle finger index, and then pull more. And then I'm going to take the yarn and wrap it around to make a cross, like that. So I have 2 here and a cross, and just this to hold. Let's do that again. Over pinky and ring finger, under middle and index finger. Take like a long strand of yarn, like take a lot of it, because if you take little, if you just like take this much and do this, then it's not gonna wrap around twice, right? So you take a lot of it. Okay, I mean not too much, reasonable amount, yeah. Over, under. Now when you're wrapping it, instead of doing this, go a little like this and then come like that. So you just form a loop and you can hold this like that. So you have an X going on here, and this is how it looks. You have these 2 loops. What you're gonna do is gonna grab your hook, and now you're gonna go under this guy, under the first loop. So I'm going under the first loop, not touching any of this, just going under the first loop. Now I'm gonna grab the second loop, again not touching anything from here, just grabbing the second loop, pulling it, then twisting. I didn't touch anything here, but that just happens when I grab this loop. And now after I've twisted it, I'm gonna take this thing, this yarn. This is working yarn, which is still connected to the yarn ball. And I'm gonna, so we have a loop on our hook, we're gonna pull through. So it's almost like a chain one, but it doesn't count as the part of chain one. Now, once you've done that, you can take your fingers out. Then you'll see there's a ring that has formed. So I want you to hold it such that, you know, this loose tail you have is towards your left. So it's like a double ring over here, and then you have the working yarn. That's a magic circle. We can do that one more time. Go like this, go like this, forming a cross, under, and then grabbing this, pull it, and then twist it, and then this, you know, this yarn, working yarn, see, it's connected to the yarn ball. It's like this. This is the long yarn still connected to the yarn ball. I'm gonna grab it. I'm just gonna pull through the loop that's on my hook, and that should form, and take my fingers out, it should form a circle. Now I want you to hold it in this manner such that the loose end is on your left side, and yeah, I mean this side, this is also sort of on your left. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this working yarn and we're gonna chain one first. That didn't count as a chain, the thing that we just made. We're gonna chain one. Now we're gonna make a single crochet. So we're gonna make a stitch, but we're gonna go inside this circle. So you'll have like one loop which forms the real circle, and then like this loose loop. Hold the loose loop with the circle, you know, so it's like a double strand circle. Now go inside the circle. Imagine the circle is a donut. You go inside the hole of the donut, and then you grab this yarn and then pull from inside the circle. So you'll have two loops on your hook, and then you grab the yarn again and you pull through. So that's a single crochet. That's the first stitch. Mark it with a stitch marker. So this V that you see, you can pull the loop. You'll see a V at the base. Put a stitch marker there and tighten it again. Now again, we're gonna go inside this circle. So this time we're not doing double crochet, we're not grabbing, no. We're just going inside the circle, grabbing the working yarn. So it's here, right? And we're gonna pull it from inside the hole. I'm gonna bring it like this. And then I'm gonna pull through both. So if you see from like, if you turn it, you can see the V's that are forming. These are like the stitches. So this is the first one with the stitch marker, and this is the second one I just made. We're gonna make 6 of these. So you go inside and make sure you're grabbing both this loose end and the circle yarn, and then we're taking this, getting it inside, pulling through both loops. You go in. So you will technically have like the circle as a loop, like these two things as a loop, and then the other loop on your hook. You're gonna grab the yarn and pull through technically like the first one, and then we're gonna pull through both. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. So I've made 6 single crochets into the magic circle. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna pull this loose end gently so like the yarn doesn't break, because I did that once. Yeah, as you pull, you'll see, oh, there, the loop disappeared. The circle thing that we had going, it just disappeared. because we pulled on it. So as you can see, we've made a semicircle. Because we're making the ears, we don't want it to be a whole circle, we just want it to be a semicircle. So adding 6 single crochets into the magic circle allows us to have this like moon-like shape. Now, I want you to turn the work. So then your stitch marker will be on your left now. Again, grab the working yarn. And now we're gonna insert 2 double crochets into each stitch. So we're not chaining anything actually. We're just right at the bottom of the loop. That's the sixth stitch we just made. We're gonna just pull it. And then we're gonna enter, double crochet. So you pick up your loop and then you enter.
I wanted to point out this time we're not entering the back loop, we're picking up both parts of the chain, you know, like the V is formed by 2 parts, one that's closer to you, that's the front loop, and the further one is the back loop. You basically pick both of them up. Please remember to put a stitch mark on the first double crochet you make. I haven't done it right away, I do it later in the video.
So that was the first double crochet in like the 6th stitch. Now we're going to do another double crochet in the same stitch. The same place we just entered, we're going to enter that place again. And we're going to do a double crochet. So like in the first row, we did 6 single crochets into the magic circle. Now in the second row, we're going to do 2 double crochets into each stitch. So we're going to have 12 stitches total. So this time you're not going like into one of the loops, you're going to go under both the loops. So that's just one. Yeah. So right now I have the entire V on top of my hook. We're going to go under both the loops. And now I'm going to enter back into the same loop. I'm on the 5th stitch, 5th single crochet. I just made 1 double crochet and I'm going to make a second one in it. Here's how it looks so far. We're just gonna keep going. Go under both the front loop and the back loop, so the entire V is on your hook. And then make 2 double crochets into each stitch. Okay, so we're done with row 2, which are the 12 double crochets around. If you like this size, you can go ahead with this, but I'm gonna move on to like row 3. So again, turn your work. Now we're gonna enter the first stitch again, and we're gonna do a single double crochet in this. Like we're just gonna do 1 double crochet. Gonna mark that, mark the first stitch. Now in the second one I'm gonna do 2 double crochets, and we're gonna alternate like that. So in the first stitch we're gonna do 1 double crochet, second 2 double crochets, third stitch 1 double crochet, fourth stitch 2 double crochets, and we're gonna do this till the end. So when you're in the last stitch right here, you should have done 2 double crochets. So I completed round 3 and this is how big it is. I think I may stay with this size, it's decent. But if you want to make it slightly bigger, you can do 1 more row. But wait, if you're satisfied with the size, you can just chain 1 and cut it out. Just cut it and then pull on it slightly to tighten. But if you want to do 1 more row, here's how you're going to go about it. Again, you're going to turn the work. Then at the base, we're going to enter the stitch again. Double crochet, sorry. So we're going to do 1 double crochet in the first stitch, 1 double crochet in the second stitch, and 2 double crochets in the third stitch. And we're going to follow that throughout. So in the third stitch we have 2 double crochets, and then in the fourth stitch we have 1 double crochet, fifth stitch we have 1 double crochet, and the sixth stitch we have 2 double crochets, and we're going to follow that. So again, 7th 1 double crochet, 8th 1 double crochet, 9th 2 double crochets. So there are 18 stitches and I'm at the last stitch, and I'm going to do 2 double crochets into the last stitch. So always, like, this is called doing an increase, and the last stitch should always have the increase, like doing the extra double crochet. And that's a good big ear. Now I'm gonna cut it off here because this is big enough, so I'm gonna just chain 1, pull out a little bit of yarn, and then cut it. So it's gonna go like this, and it's big. Now we're gonna use the pattern to make a second one. Again, if you wanna go, like, perhaps if you wanna make it even bigger, you just need to follow the same pattern of increasing. You know, you go like, so in round 2 we did 2 double crochets into each stitch. Round 3 we did 1 2 1 2. Then round 4 we did 1 1 2. So if you wanted to continue to make it bigger, you do 1 1 1 2, you know. So on the fourth stitch you do an increase, and you can just use that to make the ear as big as you want. So once I'm done with the second ear, I'm going to show you how to attach it. Okay guys, so I finally have both the ears and the scarf complete. So before we actually attach the ears to the scarf, we're gonna weave in the ends, and for that you can take a slightly thinner hook. And honestly, I don't think I'm very professional at this. I kind of just go into the chains. So honestly, you'll have a loose thread. Don't cut it out right away, because that can actually make your yarn unravel, you know. So instead, just put a smaller hook through some of the stitches, and then pull on this guy. Wait, I just like to wrap it up and pull it through the stitches, and it looks somewhat like this. I'm going to do that. It's starting to look like this. And there we have it. That's like the end, which you can't really make out. Yeah. And so I have successfully weaved in one of the ends, and you do the same thing with this. I'm actually not weaving in the ends of the ears yet, because I think I can use that yarn to attach it onto the scarf. So as to where to attach it, right? I take my yarn, I fold it into half. So we have half. Oops. I fold my yarn into half. Then, you know, you can see these are stitches, so you can count them. Like, that's 1 double crochet, 2 3 4 5 6. Now basically I want you to put this around your head, and then I want you to position just on one side. Where do you want the ear to be? Like, where do you want the ears to be when you put it on your head? You know, whether you want them like really like close to each other, or you want them really on the side. Like, it really depends. So I'm gonna demonstrate how I decide where I'm putting my ears. So I have my scarf here. I'm gonna level it so it's half and then put it around my head. Make sure it's equal on both ends. And then I'm just gonna see how I like the positioning of the ears. I think I like them better on this side. Suppose I want it to be here at this position. You can put a stitch marker. I'm just gonna place my finger and then I say put a stitch marker over there, and after putting a stitch marker, I can tell it's like over here, then I can fold it into half. So when I fold it into half, here's the spot I want it, and when it's folded half, it's basically 1 2 3 4 5 6. There's like a middle stitch and it's like 6 stitches down. So I'm gonna use the same math over here. I'm gonna turn it around to the other side. I'm gonna count 6 stitches down, and that'll basically be like approximately the same, like equal distance. I don't think it has to be like perfect. You can't really tell if it's off by 1 stitch. So yeah, I'm just gonna attach the ears like this then from the 6th stitch. That number can vary for you if you want them further apart or closer. So to attach the ear to the scarf, I would recommend having this darning needle which has a really big eye, like it's really fat, so you can put yarn through it. I'm gonna take at least like 15 inches of the yarn thread doubled up. If I don't use all of it, that's fine, but it's better to have extra rather than having little. So you cut the yarn thread, you have your needle here, it's like the string is half, and then you just tie a knot at the end. So now this is the place where I want to attach the ear. So what I'm actually going to do is, again, take this smaller hook, and you know the loose end I had, the really loose end, I'm actually going to just weave it in, but weave it in through the scarf so it's getting attached, you know. So just pulling it. Yeah, I would say I don't really have like a very technical method, like step by step. I kind of just do whatever and attach in whichever manner possible. So I'm actually gonna just go up, go through, and I pull out from this side. And this is just like, again, me using the loose ends. Then when I'm using this, I start from the other side. I put the needle in, pull it up, then just go in and out. Pull it from the other side, putting it up again. So I have one ear attached, and we're gonna just use the same process to attach the second ear, and then we are done with the scarf.
Here's my completed scarf. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.